At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And today we're going to be continuing #Justice for Hailey. And there won't be many episodes left before I do the call to action. And this one's going to be a little bit different, like we had a couple weeks ago when I had Miss Barbara and Stella on recorded on the phone message. Okay. So the audio, that's the reason it's different, because we're not in the studio per se doing it. We're recording through telephone conversations. But I want you to listen to this family's pain. And now we're turning the corner in investigation. You go to last week's episode where the district attorney or the assistant district attorney and the detectives promised them everything. Miss Barbara and them kept hammering questions. Promise, even to the point of the detective walking them out on the elevator and saying, I promise you we're going to get them. I promise you. I mean, go back and listen to it. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call Miss Barbara. I think Stella is there. It's Hailey's sister, and Tyler is her friend. And let's see what they have to say. Okay. Hey, Miss Barbara, it's Woody. How are you?
We're okay. How are you?
Who else there? Stella and Tyler?
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
Heard y'all went down the road to see a deer that had horns.
Yeah.
It was cool looking.
It's really rare this time of the year is when they usually start to lose them. You know, they lose their horns every year and they grow back.
They do?
Yep. They lose it every year and they grow back. It's actually like a bone material. And so as the years go by, they get bigger and up until around age 4 to 5, and then they start to decline. The horns do. So,
that's crazy.
yeah.
I didn't know they lost them every year.
Yep, and that's why in the early fall you'll see them and they have velvet on their horns, because whatever that growth is that comes out of the head, they take their horns and they rub them on the trees to get them hard and shiny and ready to fight for their girls. There's your biology lessons for today. Anyway.
Yeah, big old antlers.
Yeah, cool. I got plenty of antlers, and I have the ones that we keep like coal bucks and stuff, and try to manage the herd, and then we'll keep the coal buck horns and stuff. And so, but anyway, I wanted to call. I thank y'all for taking time out of your day today. Look, I am recording. Don't worry about it. But should they get out anything that y'all don't want in, etc. But let's get started. I want to talk to y'all. First of all, I've been kind of torn on which way to go from this point. And one way, which is I think is probably the best way, is to start talking to y'all from the time you left the detective office. What happened, what didn't happen, what was promised, what wasn't done. And I think that's probably the way that we should do it before we get into the fact that he actually went to trial and all that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. I trust your guidance on this, because you know what you're doing and we don't.
Right. And I mean, I could skip forward and go that he got prosecuted for what he got prosecuted for and all that, but I think that's going to be a wind up, and we'll use that to bring it home for all the lifers. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So to clarify, I thought that for some reason I thought that was a female detective way back when I first listened to it. Clarified that what's her name is actually the assistant district attorney.
Stephanie Green. Yes, she was the prosecutor in the case. Yes.
Right. And she's the one who actually tried him for the charges later on, but not murder.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And that day, what did you feel like? I mean, I know y'all hammered him with a lot of questions and everything else. What did you feel about the meeting?
I wanted to be hopeful, but I felt even, I guess, less hopeful after the meeting. It just seemed like constant, making excuses for what they hadn't done and why they couldn't do anything. And I just, and then the guy walked us outside and he told us, oh, I'm going to call you every Friday. And,
Right. Right.
He called once.
Right. And Stella, what did y'all think?
It felt like they were blatantly, which I kept telling them, I was like, so you're giving up. It felt like they were just almost giving up because all I was hearing was the same thing over and over, which was, well, we don't have evidence to prove this, even though there was so much in front of them that we had already explained over and over. It just felt like talking to like brick walls. I didn't even know, like, I didn't know how it wasn't getting through their heads that
Yeah.
have evidence for this. They need to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had asked several times for somebody else to be on the case that I didn't feel like the lead detective on her case
And
had enough experience.
what was his name again?
Detective Nudie.
Nudie, can you spell it for the listeners?
It's Nudi.
All right, and for the Patreon and convicts that got to see the video, he would have been the younger one, during the interrogation of Brooks.
Yes.
Okay, and so he called it as the lead case, which pretty much tell you how that's probably going to work. The older guy that was in the room with him probably went home and just told the younger guy he's training, "Hey, call me." It's sound harsh, but call me if the blood hits the ground. Otherwise, you handle it. Because I used to do the same thing, and then so he gets called out because obviously they believe it's a homicide. So when you had asked about that, I think that's one of the reasons she said, or no, he said at one point during the recording that, oh, he's got experience and we're working this and blah blah blah.
Yeah. And I talked to her a couple of times about it, and we had another long meeting after that, and for some reason the recorder did not record.
Okay.
But in every time I talk to them about if he did it and you can't prove it, then you need more investigators or you need somebody else on it.
All right. Hey,
you can't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's get to that in just 1 second. I got a couple more questions on it.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you. So you were in the meeting. Y'all were in the meeting, and I can tell. I mean, they were trying to sound passionate. Like you asked, "What would you do?" Your mom, blah blah blah, and they were like, "We're not giving up," and we were hoping there was GHB in her system. Da da da. Well. And I'm going to go on the record and say it again. I've talked to the pathologist, and yes, that damage to the tongue is a real thing, but it's not absolute. It's no more absolute than me catching brucellosis or somebody with a Powerball or whatever, or she could have been passed out, which is probably what I believe happened. So the thing is, they made it abundantly clear, and I really think this comes more from I can't say for certain, but I think now that it makes sense to me that she's the ADA, the one who's actually prosecuting the case. She's like, I use this cat every day. And I can't now, even though he changed it from suicide to undetermined, I can't go against him. Well, that's wrong. You can. You just don't want to, right?
Exactly.
And so, but just like everybody else in these past cases that I've worked, they always want to believe. Law enforcement promises on the moon, and you're a good American citizen. Y'all are. You want to believe that what the powers that be tell you, thankfully you never been involved before this in a homicide. You want to believe that, hey, this is serious to them as it is to y'all, and that they are going to work it and do their damnedest to bring in. I mean, how many times can they tell you it's a homicide?
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't, I mean,
I'm sorry.
okay, we all know that, so you do something about it.
Right. At the same time, they're saying it's homicide. They say we're not going to give up. But then y'all were rightfully so. If it was my loved one, I would do the same thing. You would call them on this, or Stella would call them on that, and then be like, "Oh, why would we search the truck? I mean, or why would we do that? Or no, we couldn't do that." And I get that, but those are, that showed me that they didn't spend very much time self preparing. If you'd have been coming to me, and I'm going to stand there and make you the promise that I'm going to get it done, I would already, first of all, because of OCD, have thought of these things that hadn't been done, and I would have corrected the ones. I would have corrected the ones that I couldn't. Certain things can't be corrected; they're lost forever to time. But I would have been able to give you an explanation, say, "Hey, we effed up, and that happened," and I understand that, but don't patsy foot around it and try to sugarcoat it to be in self-preservation. And I wasn't going to throw shade on these people, but I have to at a certain point now. I mean, on certain things, it's just ridiculous. And I don't think we do it this week. I think it'll be next week, which might be the last week before we wrap up. But like the video y'all sent me the other day, we're not going to show it or release it or whatever yet. That is going to be one of the major caveats of stupid shit. And the reasons why this case should have been prosecuted, other than they sent Hailey for her autopsy without the correct information. And the pathologist is only as good as the information that he has, which he didn't have any of. I mean, he had, I don't know why. Did they ever tell you why the detective wasn't there?
No, they never discussed that with us at all.
I mean, it's protocol. And not to sound harsh to y'all, but when you bag a body on the scene, there is a plastic, like a zip tie thing with a number on it. It's a lock. And you pull it through. And when you seal that on the scene, the coroner does it while you're there as a detective. You take a picture of it on the scene, and you're supposed to be there as a detective, take a picture of it, that they're breaking that lock and it hasn't been disturbed before they open up the bag to begin the examination, the autopsy. And that's to stop the defense attorneys from challenging the chain of custody. To say, oh, well, somebody could have tampered with it between the time, the coroner took possession of Hailey to the time they did the autopsy. I mean, I don't know where that's at. I didn't see it in anything that you sent me.
Yeah. I don't know, we didn't know anything about any of this except what you see on Dateline or whatever. So, we're kind of new to everything and having to put on them to tell us what.
So they didn't show the pictures of them that they were supposed to take of the body bag and everything?
I did not see, and we're going to get into that because I want to play that recording too of what y'all did right when I was leaving Atlanta. Oh, actually the day before I left Atlanta, when you got all the information and y'all went in, and that's a whole another thing that's going to lead into the video that you sent me and all. And I'm going to go back and I'll double check, but I didn't see it. I mean, I saw autopsy photographs, I saw all the stuff, but I didn't see never saw a photograph of the body bag. I'm sorry, y'all, but I know it's hard for you here, but the body bag on the scene with the lock on it and the identical thing for the autopsy. Which is custody, which may be another reason that the DA's like, and that's not the DA's fault. And the DA's like, why didn't you send a detective with the information ahead of time so this dude would have known what to look for? Why didn't you? We don't know that. I'm speculating, and it may be there, but from what I believe, how long do you think that recording is? when y'all went in when I was there, and I told you, hey, just roll the dice and go in and try. How long do you think that recording is, Ms.
I
Barr?
think that one's probably maybe 20 minutes, maybe longer. I don't
You know
know.
what?
I can't even.
Let's do this. But we're going to dive into that. We're going to end today's recording with that. All right. And then, because I think that's very important. And then we can get into the video and all that stuff later. All right. But that, Stella, I'm going to double check again, but in my iPad is at Roofly, but with all the stuff on that Cindy has, and we can scan through it again. But it just hit me now. I'm thinking like, holy shit, why wasn't this done? You know,
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
that's strange. If they like legally have to take that picture.
well, it's not legally. It's
Oh,
SOP. It's standard operating procedure. The reason is because everything, like every job you've ever worked at, they have an employee handbook, but all these rules: don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Well, guess why they have those? Because somebody fucked it up in the past, and they had to make a rule about it. Like in prison now, Tyler, congrats on your new career. When you get there, you're going to find out in the rule book that you get they actually have an anti-rape act now in prison, right?
oh, trust me, they've been.
Because rape is bad. Genetics can be beautiful. Maybe you got your mom's eyes or her great skin, but genetics can also be a nightmare. I hear friends say, I got my mom's belly and love handles. Don't let genetics be the thing that holds you back from getting the body you deserve. Check out the Permanent Solutions by Sano Bello. Our friends at Sano Bello are offering you their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please make your appointment today. Sano Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal. What is micro fat laser removal? Micro laser fat removal is a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, wherever your problem areas are, the fat is gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that. But if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sano Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/RLRC. That's SONOBELLO.com/RLRC. Are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? I know Sydney was, and if you're a woman, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living rent-free in our environment right now, found in our food, water, and even in our skincare products. These disruptors can wreak havoc on our hormones. Believe me, before Hormone Harmony, I watched Cindy suffer. Not anymore. Hormone Harmony's formula, made only with herbal ingredients, have reduced Cindy's hormonal symptoms, and it helps women of all ages. Then there are the natural hormonal changes our bodies face, such as menopause. While these processes are part of life, they don't have to be uncomfortable. The good news is that you don't have to suffer through it any longer. Hormone Harmony contains science-backed herbal extracts known as adaptogens, designed to help the body cope with stressors, including those chaotic hormonal fluctuations that can disrupt your daily life. Whether it's PMS symptoms like irritability and cravings, or menopause symptoms such as hot flashes and night sweats, Hormone Harmony can help with it all. Happy Mammoth, the creator of Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to improving women's lives by using only high-quality science-backed ingredients. They make no compromises on quality, ensuring that you receive the best support possible. This isn't just a supplement, it has become a phenomenon. Women are talking about it everywhere, with a bottle of Hormone Harmony sold every 24 seconds. And the most important benefit, women express feeling like themselves again. A sentiment echoed in over 30,000 positive reviews. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com. Don't forget to use the code RLRC for 15% off today. Don't do it, right? And you know why they have to put it in there? Because some assholes sued them because they got raped. But on the policy and
I mean,
procedures,
that's not funny, but
I know it's not funny, but it's funny if they're a child molester. But other than that, it's probably not.
yeah, right.
Okay, so like on you learn from your mistakes, right? And when that's the reason there are tagged locks on body bags now, because at some point, some backwoods yokel didn't have it, or some big city didn't have it, and some smart defense attorney is like, well, guess what? How can you prove that the body did not get disturbed? Nobody planted evidence on it between point A and point B. And I could promise you they have in their SOP, but now I want to make sure on that. There's no reason for them not to take it unless maybe the coroner's office took it. But I wouldn't give a shit if the coroner's office did take the picture. I would have it in my file as a detective. I would have took one anyway, just because in case it ever came back, I'd be like, oh, come on, man, you know me better than that, right? I know my shit's gonna be. My chain of custody will be correct. You may get me on something, but you're not going to get me on the easiest thing in the world. So.
Yeah, I just, and I begged and begged and begged for a new detective or help. Just maybe, get him help. Call the GPI if you can't prove it. Get them involved.
Who did you talk to, Barbara, about getting help? Because I can tell you, and it happens, and rightfully so, that I can tell you one thing. If I was that detective Nudie or whatever his name is, and I know that the victim's mother is saying, hey, basically this dude doesn't know what he's doing, is not handling his business correctly, et cetera. If I'm him, I'm going to be pissed off. And that may put a bad taste in my mouth towards you. I mean, it didn't mean I would have done my job any differently. You're saying, but who knows how he lives? I don't know.
And he should, and it shouldn't have affected. But in all honesty, if everybody's telling me that they know that it's a homicide and they can't prove that it's a homicide, then do everything you can, get everybody else involved. Don't be too proud to ask for help if you need help.
Yep.
But, instead of just keeping on messing up more and more and more to the point where there's a lot of things that can't be fixed now.
Right. And I totally agree with you on that. Holy smokes, man. What y'all sent me the other day is, I mean, come on. That is unbelievable. And so, okay, let's skip around that because I want to add that audio to the end of this and have time for closing. Skip back to it on, you want to believe, rightfully so, especially they're promising you. Who was it that was riding down the elevator with you? That wasn't Nudie, or was it?
No, and I can't remember that.
It was like a supervisor or something, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if he was Nudie's direct supervisor or if he was with Cobb County, because it's so weird. Marietta City was over the investigation.
Yeah.
But Cobb County was in a lot of the, when the video that, where we went to get the evidence, that was Cobb County, not Marietta City. So,
right. So
I'm confused.
I can explain that. I can explain that to you. Cobb County has a lot more experienced investigators to work homicides. Marietta might have one or two. The person may have been off or whatever it may have been. But when I used to work for a sheriff's office, all the towns, even the largest city we had in the parish, they would call and ask for assistance on homicides, right? Because we had more experience in working them and handling them and stuff like that. So that's why you have it's not a contamination, because really your sheriff's office supersedes whatever city or town police departments they have. At least in Louisiana, the sheriff can tell the state police to get out of the parish. We have parishes, not counties. And the sheriff is the highest ranking law enforcement officer. I know it's like that in counties also.
So Nudie is Marietta City.
Okay. All right.
And then a lot of the guys that were talking in the meeting were Cobb County.
Right. And what means they kind of passed it to them, and rightfully so. I mean, but probably the ADA was like, you need to go over here and get some help. Or their chief was like, go over here and get some help on this, right? Let's make sure we don't screw something up. Or at least we hope that's what they do.
You're right.
But we know there are some things that are wrong. We're about to start laying them out. And so you leave that meeting, and you're all feeling obviously they told you over and over and over again it's a homicide. Kid, what is the next contact you have with law enforcement after that?
I'm sure I called at that point. I think that I had pretty much stopped calling Nudie because he didn't return calls very well, and
he didn't return calls at all.
True. So I just
he wasn't.
calling.
Let me interrupt you real quick. He wasn't one of the ones that came out and initially told y'all at the house, huh?
He was.
Yes,
he was. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sorry. He doesn't return the phone calls, and then what?
So most of the time, if I had any interaction, it was mostly with Stephanie Green, who was the assistant DA.
Right, but go ahead.
Nudie was the younger guy that was interrogating Brooks, where he loses his mind and everything.
Right.
That's Nudie.
Right. And the older guy would have probably been his supervisor or his older partner that was training him. But back to it, before you even meet an ADA, Barbara, I'm assuming you had the other meeting before you meet the ADA, because they're not even going to bring in the prosecution never is going to hear of Hailey's case until after some type of arrest is made, or they're getting ready to make an arrest and they present it. So you try to call, you quit calling Nudie. Who do you start calling? Do you know, or how many times approximately?
It was Stephanie Green.
How did you get her name? How did you get her name? From that meeting. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And I had talked to her a couple times before, I guess because she was prosecuting on the other charges, and I don't even remember exactly how we first got in contact, but
Yeah, but that would make sense. If she was assigned to prosecute the other charges, and which he's at the time was in jail for the time we're talking about, but he hadn't been in trial yet. So yes, he would have had a prosecutor assigned, and of course they're looking at if they're going to bump this up, then let her handle it. Like she said, she's the top. That's all she does is murders, right? And so you're talking to her. What about that detective supervisor who rode you down the elevator, rode y'all down, and promised you, "Oh, I'm gonna get him. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's coming."
Right. I'll be honest. I don't know if that was Detective Collins or not. I don't think that it was. I can't remember his name.
You were Cindy when we were trying to get the evidence.
No. No. But I'm pretty sure he was with Cobb County, but I'm not positive on that, and I don't remember his name.
Okay, so his names really don't even matter at this point. Yeah, we do the call to action. We'll do names, but did you ever talk to this individual again?
He called one time.
And what did he say?
Basically, hey, how are you? We don't have anything new. So,
did you get a lot of those calls?
He called once.
No, besides him, from other people.
Nobody, almost nobody ever called us. We had to call them. I've constantly called, and I emailed Stephanie all the time.
With responses.
Yeah, I get responses, but it was always everything sounded political. Like she was basically covering up for everybody and making excuses for everything. And in the meeting afterwards, Stella said something about, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And one of the Cobb County guys, and I believe it's the guy that gave us the evidence, he said,
it is.
He said, well, if we focus on everything that we did wrong, you'll just be mad.
I remember that. That actually, I think, was in that meeting that we just played.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I'm like, oh my God. And now I didn't throw shade on him, he threw shade on himself on that one. Right. But hindsight is always 20/20 in any case. But so, all right. I guarantee you, I know you were calling, and I know Stella and Tyler were right there beside your side because I know how persistent you are, which you should be. But what you don't realize is most of these families just sit by the phone. Most of these families are like, oh, I don't want to bother them, or whatever. And that's so sad, right? But it takes all kinds to make the world go around. And like, Courtney Coco's mama now has the victims rights group, whatever, for the state of Louisiana. And she, helps guide families through the process and teach them not to give up. But obviously, y'all never gave up. You're calling, you're emailing, you're communicating. Do we have those emails, Barbara?
I don't think so, but I sent them to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, send them to me, and we'll release them for the paper on comics. And then we'll probably talk about some of them. And this would be emails like between you and the assistant district attorney.
Yeah.
Right.
And I felt, Stella and I both felt like we had to investigate. Like they weren't, they're just not going to do it. So we have to figure out something to do because they're not going to do anything else. I had, I had people telling me that they didn't interview them from the apartment complex, just all kinds of things that we thought they should have done that they didn't do.
Right. And y'all called them out on that, a lot of it in that meeting that we played last week. Right. And, I could tell every time they didn't have an answer for when we call it crawfish, when they backed up and they were like, and that's at one point the guy was like, well, if we focus on everything we did wrong and whatever. Let's talk about that real quick when you brought it up and you sent me some text messages with someone who lived at the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to post these this week, Cindy. Can you just briefly tell me about that?
Yeah, well, I had posted something on the Nextdoor app trying to, I guess, at this point I was angry and trying to see if I could find, anybody that saw anything or heard anything. And a girl reached out to me and said, we lived in the I live in the apartment across the way from her. And, I guess she had heard things and I think she said they found, I don't remember what she said completely, but
didn't she say she actually heard? I mean,
you heard the gunshots, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought was huge. But keep going. I'm listening.
Okay, and so she said that they had never come to talk to her ever, and that there were a lot of people, that she knew in the apartment complex that they had never talked to.
Right, and these are people that, and the ADA did say at one point in time that, hey, if we had more people that heard, and I can't explain why it didn't happen, and what have you, but we know for a fact that at least it's one female, and I told you actually to contact the ADA and send it to, at least try to talk to her this week and reach out to her about some of that stuff, right?
I called and left a message.
That was last Friday, I think.
Friday. I called today and no answer and no reply. I sent her an email, no reply.
Okay. And
Collins, who is now Major Collins, I called him, no reply. I called Nudie, no reply.
Okay, good. And you've been recording all that?
Yes.
Okay, can you send those on to Cindy also, please?
Yes.
All right, so I pulled up your message. I'm going to read it real quick, at least part of it. This is, it says 10:53 a.m. Yes, ma'am. I live in Campus Edge. My apartment faces hers. I saw the cops make a blockade and was overhearing what I could. I am so sorry for your loss. Everyone here is in shock. And then you said, did you know Hailey? Did you hear or see anything? And she said, people watch a lot. I believe she was the girl saying the boy, I don't know what this means, INTGR2S, just Beaver. I always wear them, get into gray, I think Charger, or she must have been watch. I'm terrible.
That was my car.
Okay.
It was
I think some of these are just typos. So,
right.
You know whose car that was, you're saying?
It was Mazda's car.
Okay.
He had It's a gray Honda, but it was, yeah.
So that validates what she's saying. And she said they would leave with whoever was driving that car a lot. Boy, we know they left that day with him, right?
Right.
And I didn't see anything that night, but I've heard gunshots in the neighborhood multiple times. I believe they arrested someone driving a wildfire. I heard, in this call, it says, me and a few neighbors were out there trying to see what was going on. Like I said, I even asked the cop if everything was okay. Nobody asked a single neighbor anything other than the two people who reported the incident. And that would have been the young man downstairs, and I guess the apartment manager.
Exactly.
Then she continues on. The girl who works at the front office, her name is Erin. She was a blonde, but she's dyed her hair red now. And the other guy, that was the neighbor that reported the incident, has black, long, curly ass hair, lives below her old apartment, but one door over. And then, it's kind of cut off after that. So that makes her valid. But that she was never talked to. And she's directly across.
Right.
And,
exactly.
And it's never too late. I mean, it's never too late. And when we do the call to action, when we make a list of all these, I guess now we're turning the page into the what wasn't done mode.
Go
ahead.
Did I ever send you I'm almost positive I did, the private detective that we hired for, briefly. And she had tried to ask questions in the apartment complex, and the apartment complex wouldn't let her.
That's right. You did send the audio, and we need to release that. Now, there's the audio of someone recording with.
Yes, that's right.
And we're going to release that too, Miss Barbara. Yeah, they wouldn't let her in. And you know what? Pretty much I get that. And because if I'm the apartment manager, I don't want people harassing my residents, whatever. Now, as a cop, they couldn't have done a fucking thing about it. Right?
Exactly.
But the cops didn't do it. And back to that meeting that y'all had we released last week, you were like, is there anything else we can do? Should I hire a PI? Should I get the news media involved? She's like, well, it's a gray area. I can't really tell you, what to do because of blah, 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 whatever.
Are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Look no further than Factor. Factor offers chef-made gourmet meals that are dietitian approved and can be heated and enjoyed in just 2 minutes. Perfect for fueling your body and feeling great, no matter what life throws your way. Factor makes it easy to eat well and stick to your nutritional goals. Factor delivers fresh, fully prepared meals right to your doorstep, making it ideal for anyone with an active, busy lifestyle like my family. Are you looking to shed a few pounds? With Factor, you can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto Meals. This is based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto, although results will vary depending on individual diet and exercise. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's simple to find meals tailored to your specific goals. You can choose preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto, ensuring there's something for everyone. Factor helps me feel my best all day long, and it can help you too. Factor offers wholesome smoothies, delicious breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and so much more. Their variety makes it easy to stick to your nutrition goals without feeling deprived. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and helps my family stay on track with our health goals, making healthy eating not just achievable, but enjoyable. Recently, I had Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice. Imagine tender, juicy chicken thighs, perfectly seared and sauteed to golden perfection. Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice dish brings together rich, earthy flavors that will satisfy your cravings and leave your taste buds dancing with delight. This gourmet meal features succulent chicken thighs paired with a savory mushroom sauce that's bursting with goodness. It's complemented by a hearty serving of fluffy wild rice, expertly seasoned to enhance the flavors of chicken. Each bite is a harmonious blend of textures, tender meat, creamy mushrooms, and wholesome grains. Ready in just 2 minutes, this dish is not only easy to prepare, but also nourishing, providing you with the fuel you need to tackle your day. Whether you're a busy professional, a parent on the go, or just someone who appreciates a home-cooked meal without the hassle. Factor guarantees convenience and taste. So why wait? Treat yourself to a culinary delight with Factor's mushroom, chicken thighs, and wild rice. The perfect balance of flavor, nutrition, and simplicity. Get started with factormeals.com and use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's factormeals.com/factorpodcast.
Between client meetings, managing your business, and everyday tasks, who has time to worry about website hosting? With Kinsta's managed WordPress hosting, you don't have to. They handle the technical stuff, delivering lightning-fast load times, enterprise-grade security, and 24/7 365 human-only support. Simply switching to Kinsta could make your site up to 200% faster. Kinsta's custom dashboard makes managing sites easy, with powerful features designed to save you time and effort. Plus, their free expert-led migrations ensure a smooth transition. Ready to see why Kinsta is trusted by thousands of businesses? Get your first month free at kinsta.com. That's KINSTA.com. Kinsta, simply better hosting.
But so we know at least this person was an interview. Now, it's late, starts around 10:15, 10:30, goes to whatever time, probably way later than what we have on camera, because they have to process the scene and all that stuff and what have you. And how many neighbors are going to be awake at 4:00 in the morning?
Right.
Right. I mean, if you come out, well, I probably be just getting ready to go to bed, but the normal person is asleep and it's a cold night. They've been out there forever with emergency lights. You might want to be a looky-loo, look out your window, see what's going on. Or like this girl asked the cops, hey, were we safe? Yeah, you're safe. Go back inside. And so the one detective is already pissed off because the fire and rescue moved the shotgun. And we know the other detectives at the jail within a couple of hours. So who's out knocking on doors? I mean, shit, that takes a long time. You know how many doors there are in an apartment complex? I've had to do it.
Right.
How many doors there are in an apartment complex? And look, you have to write down, or I used to write down the ones that didn't answer. You know why? Because if I didn't get the rest and get the confession, I was going back. And I was going to knock on the doors and get statements from them. Even if they said they didn't see anything, guess what? If you don't follow up on that and you go to trial, then the defense is going to put that person on there saying, hey, they never came and talked to me. Right. And I don't believe anything happened or what have you. So, wow, I guess we're delving into the.
And this was, when she got in touch with me, I believe it was probably a couple months after. So they had plenty of time.
Yeah. And now it's been years, and how many people stay in the apartment after college years and then move on.
Yeah. It's a college kind of,
right. And they really would have to. It's the kind of place that on the first of the month, there's a bunch of trucks loaded up or unloaded.
Exactly.
Right. And so they would have to track down potential witnesses and everything else. You know what? That I would email what's her name again, the ADA, and about the text message, or she calls, talk to her specifically about the text message. Say, hey, look, this girl says none of these people were interviewed, and they, some of them heard the gunshots, and that I believe that I still believe the ADA is working with the shit sandwich that they served her, right? And she can't make a chicken salad out of chicken shit. I believe but I also believe she has the power and authority to tell her investigators or call those detectives up and ream their ass out and say, you never talk to these people? Why not?
Right. And I
they could have had somebody that saw him running out, with bloody clothes or something. We know that didn't happen, but they could have saw him run downstairs and put something in Moss's car.
And I did tell her that at some point, or I think I even told Nudie that she had gotten in touch with me, and he kept saying, oh, well, we're going to interview everybody. They never
he acknowledged they didn't interview everybody.
He never even interviewed Stella and I.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But somebody else did that, right?
No.
Oh my God. They never interviewed you about Brooks's relationship with Hailey.
No. I mean, they never interviewed us. We said a lot in these meetings we had, but they never actually sat down and interviewed us and asked us questions. Anything that they, we told them is because we just volunteered and told them, but they never sat down and asked. And Stella kept saying, you still haven't even interviewed me. Oh, we're going to interview you. And I think they even said something in the meeting. We're going to get an interview with Stella and all.
They did. They sure did.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to the day they came to notify y'all of Hailey's murder that, they said, maybe I asked a question or two or whatever, but nothing. First of all, you don't do that when you're just hitting somebody cold in the face with the grief, right? But
right.
I think maybe I'm thinking they thought they had his ass and until they didn't. And then, but you know what? It's never too late to go back. And it only takes one. And I think you have enough, way beyond circumstantial evidence that he did it because of everything he's done. They were alone, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to get into all that. But anything else, when we put it out to the public that comes in. And look, you know what? I want y'all, and we'll do it before next week's episode, to sit down and write, if you don't mind, to just take a little bit and sit down and brainstorm together. Say this wasn't done. Like our interviews were never done. The girl said they weren't. They were never interviewed at apartment complex. Anything else that you could think of on that list of things, and get it to me so we can talk about it. All right, we at this point, fuck it. I'm gonna turn it into what wasn't done, and that what wasn't done, unfortunately, that has to come because it wasn't done. And
there were times with Nudie that I almost felt like he was working against us in some way. I don't know if maybe he was just playing devil's advocate, and I don't know if in that recording or the phone call. But I said, well, the only scenario that makes sense is the one that he's not getting charged for.
Right.
And we know that. And he said, no, that's not the only scenario that makes sense. She could have said, well, I'm going to kill myself. And then he said, well, do it. And then she did. And then he felt bad. And I'm like, really jumped out on that limb?
And she moved herself across the room and hid the shotgun and all that. Yeah. Right.
So I just don't know. I never felt.
I think, and again, and I'm going to do this. It's almost like a mama bear, and I don't even know this dude. I think, Miss Barbara, it's just got to be a lack of experience, right? And then, not in him being frustrated on top of that of not having Brooks in handcuffs for murder. So, but somebody, and rightfully so, the ADA, I'm sure, told them, and I'm pretty sure some people got their ass cheeked, but we need to come up with everything. We're turning the page now to what wasn't done. And then we're really going to piss the people off. And then we are going to do the call to action. Stella, Tyler, can y'all help? I know. I mean, it's like sitting in that hotel room in Atlanta and being on the phones, same kind of thing. You're always going to think of more shit, right?
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, but what do we need to do?
I would write down anything, if it was me, just from the beginning, and it's like no tip is too small. Write down anything that you think was strange or off, or that they told you was going to happen and didn't happen. I just don't want to miss anything. Right.
Okay.
And I want to make sure we have a laundry list, and then we're going to go back and I'm going to put it together on everything that he lied about. And she mentioned a lot of it the other day, but she didn't get it all. Everything that he lied about, all the actions he did and everything else. And then what they said the doctor said, not the pathologist, but the psychologist says there's no other excuse except he's lying. And we all know that. But so we're going to put it together like that. And then everybody's going to have it. And guess what? We're going to send it to them. and every step that wasn't done, and then we'll take it from there. And I don't want to say more about that on the podcast, okay? But so if y'all would do that, and if you could please send the emails, and what else did I ask for, Sam?
The emails, the detective, like the phone call.
And the phone calls this week with the ADA and all that stuff.
20-minute one that was mentioned at the beginning of the episode. I think it might have been a video when they went to get some.
We have that.
Okay.
I've seen it. Right, Barbara. I saw that one when you went in and got the evidence.
Right. I sent it to you, but I can send it again if you
don't mind, just send it again. And
okay.
Because we have a plethora of.
I know.
I don't know which one is listed. Yes, yeah, and I'm gonna go back and review the autopsy stuff again, but it's not just the autopsy; it's the crime scene I'm worried about also. All right, and Stella, Tyler, you got anything? What do you think? The questions, comments, bitches, gripes?
I think it sounds like a plan.
All right, we got nothing to lose, and everything in the game. And
right.
Hey, can we end it with this? Will you please tell me what happened last Friday? This is how serious it is to the people that are listening. This dude, and we'll explain everything to you. He is in prison. We'll explain all that to you in an upcoming episode. But he, last Friday, had a hearing to get out. Right, Miss Barbara?
Right.
And can you tell
for an appeal?
Can you tell him what happened?
Yeah, he okay, so it was his appeal for or his request for an appeal, and he has a new attorney, and she basically went over how he was misrepresented and all kinds of things, and how he got too much time, and
ineffective counsel would have been the first,
right?
And they,
yes, and they wanted a reduction in the sentence that he got for the other charges.
Right. Well, it is what it is.
And the judge denied all that. He denied the appeal, and of course, I'm sure that he'll appeal again. But at least this one was
right.
Knock on wood.
Did you say that the judge said anything about basically they tried it like a murder trial?
His attorney did.
What does the attorney say exactly, to the best of your recollection, about that?
She said that they tried it as a murder, but it was actually, it was not a murder trial, but they tried it as a murder trial. That should never happen. And the only reason it happened is because we got the media involved, and I've got notes from that, and so I'll send you all the notes from the trial. From the hearing.
Okay. Well, and at the end of the day, he was denied that first round anyway. So that's how important it is, y'all. We are up against the time clock to get Hailey's story told, and ultimately bring the pressure. Because if they thought that the defense attorney thought that it was tried like a murder case, but it wasn't, because of media pressure before. Well, wait a minute.
Right.
All right. Well, we love y'all and hang in there.
We love y'all too. Thank you so much.
Hang in there, and don't ever come to my headquarters /bar, Stella and Tyler, because there's a whole bunch of those things I want to see hanging all over my walls. You might get offended.
And they're not walking around.
Right. No, they're not, but they're looking down at you. And
that's okay.
Raise a beer to them. No, I'm just teasing. I eat them every day too, so I'm about to go eat some of that. And all right.
As long as you eat them, that's it.
Okay. That's all we eat. I also couldn't afford anything else. I raised my kids with ground deer meat. They thought ground deer meat was beef. So potatoes and hamburgers and meatloaf and everything, spaghetti, anything you could eat, it was ground deer meat. So,
all
right. All right. And I'm sorry, girls, to put that in.
All right.
All right. Okay, love y'all. Can we do another call next week?
Yes.
And we'll go take it from there. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Woody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Love you.
it. Bye. Y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, y'all, you just heard Miss Barbara, Hailey's sister Stella, and Tyler in concerns with the case, right? They were promised everything, like you heard on the last episode on recording, promised everything, nothing happened. And then there are a lot of things in the investigation that obviously should have happened that didn't happen. And we're going to bring you that next week, everything, so you can throw up in the back of your mouth. It's horrible. We should not even be having to do this podcast if Hailey had got the justice she deserves. And we love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Stay tuned. We're I think 2 weeks away from doing the call to action and see how much power lifers have to help get justice for Hailey. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life Real Crime, the podcast. Until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.